Hey Stoic friends, welcome back to my channel. What if I told you the war you've been fighting wasn't against the world, but against your own reflection? What if I told you that nothing out there, no heartbreak, no betrayal, no loss, has ever held as much power over your life as the way your mind chose to respond? You've been searching for peace in people, in places, in promises that always fall through. But the battlefield was never outside. It's always been in your head, in that quiet war zone between who you are and who you pretend to be just to survive. There's a reason your chest feels like it's carrying a mountain. You've been swallowing storms like they're breakfast. You've been stitching smiles over bullet holes, acting fine while your soul screams into a void no one can hear. Nights don't just pass anymore, they drag like anchors. Mornings don't start with hope, they hit like punishment. And somewhere along the way, you stopped asking for help because you got tired of repeating the same story to people who only listen to reply, not to understand. You weren't always like this. There was a fire once, a version of you that didn't flinch, didn't beg for peace, didn't second-guess your own worth. But pain has a way of bleaching your spirit, doesn't it? People betrayed you, and you blamed yourself. Time passed, and you called it healing. But deep down, the wounds just learned how to bleed in silence. You're not weak, you're not broken, you're just heavy, with moments you never got to cry through, words you never said, rage you kept caged for the sake of being good. But Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And if your thoughts are soaked in trauma, regret, and disappointment, then your world will feel like a war zone, even in peace. But what if you could repaint that mind? What if you could rip out the poison before it spreads and plant something stronger in its place? This isn't about fake smiles or toxic positivity. This is about building an inner fortress, one thought at a time, one brutal truth at a time, one sacred refusal to break at a time. This isn't some self-help sugar-coated bedtime story. This is for the silent soldiers, the ones who laugh in public and cry in their cars, the ones who hold everyone together while secretly falling apart, the ones who've been used, ghosted, abandoned, and still show up with love in their chest and loyalty in their bones. I see you, I know you, because I am you. And this video, this isn't just philosophy, it's survival fuel, it's emotional weaponry. It's what Marcus Aurelius and the ancient Stoics carved out through sleepless nights, brutal battles, and bleeding hearts, so that souls like yours could rise again. So don't just watch this, feel it, let it crawl through your scars and shatter the numbness. Like this, share this, subscribe if you're done playing small with your pain. And by the end of this video, I don't want you just inspired. I want you reborn. I want you walking out like a storm finally remembered its name. And if your heart is still beating while your world feels broken, drop this in the comments below. My mind creates my world. Because it does. And now, it's time you take it back. Now, let's get into it. Number 1, your focus is your power. You could be drowning in sunlight and still feel like you're suffocating. That's the kind of madness a misdirected mind can trap you in, because this world, this loud, ruthless, unpredictable world, doesn't need to touch your body to break you. It just needs to hijack your focus. You could be surrounded by people, by opportunities, by life itself, and still be caged inside your own mind. Why? Because your focus is your weather. And if you keep staring at the storm, you'll never feel the warmth. Even if the sun is blazing right above you, you're not weak, you're not broken, but you're bleeding energy in silence because you keep aiming your mind at what hurts. You keep digging up what already buried you. You're feeding the exact fire that scorched your peace. The words they said, the love that collapsed, the betrayal that shattered something inside you. You stare at it like it holds answers, but it only holds poison. And every time you look back, every time you replay the damage, you drink from it again, hoping to feel something different. But you won't. That pain is a parasite. It thrives on your focus. Marcus Aurelius carved it into eternity. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Read it again. Let it haunt you until it saves you. Because if you don't learn to rule your focus, the world will, and the world is brutal. It'll steal your joy, bury it under noise, and then laugh while you crumble trying to control what was never yours. You can't control who hurt you, but you can control if you keep letting them win in your head. You ever get dragged by a single thought? One memory, one what if, one haunting regret, and suddenly hours are gone, your chest feels heavy, and your entire soul is vibrating with rage or sorrow. That's not fate. That's a mind left untrained, undisciplined, untamed. But here's the truth no one gives you gently. You can train it. Like fire being forged into steel, your focus can be sculpted. You can teach it to let go, to return to peace, to sharpen itself like a blade instead of cutting you from the inside. Imagine your mind as a lens, and every day you choose what it magnifies. Aim it at your wounds, and they'll consume you. Aim it at your healing, your rebuilding, your raw potential, and even in ruins, you'll rise. That's the Stoic fire. That's not denial, that's war. A war between what happened to you and what you'll become despite it. Your focus is your weapon, not your tears, not your revenge, not your anger. Your focus. Where it goes, you follow. So if you keep following ghosts, don't be surprised when life feels like a funeral. Let this burn into your soul. You've already been hurt. Don't let the memory hurt you again. Don't let it keep robbing you, bleeding you dry, whispering lies in your quiet moments. Take your focus back like a thief takes back stolen gold. Guard it like it's your last breath. Because it is. Energy is life. And if your energy is trapped in yesterday, you're already half dead today. Cut it off. Refuse to feed what broke you. Redirect, refocus, reclaim. You want strength? Then aim your focus like your survival depends on it, because it does. The world will never stop throwing chaos your way. But if your focus is yours, you become untouchable. Not numb, not heartless, but unshakable. And that's what they can never take from you again. Number 2. Stop giving power to what you can't control. There's a weight crushing your spirit, and what's insane is, it's not even yours to carry. It's the weight of their opinions, their silence, the outcomes that slipped through your fingers, no matter how hard you fought. It's the pain of wanting to control something that never once belonged to you. Like holding on to smoke, you tried to shape it, keep it, beg it to stay, but it vanished, and now all you're left with is empty hands and a broken mind. You're not tired because you've done too much. You're tired because you've held on too long to things you were never meant to hold. You bent until you cracked. You loved until it hurt. You stayed long after you should have walked away because you thought your effort could force the outcome. That if you gave more, maybe they'd change. Maybe the story would end differently. But the world isn't a contract. It doesn't owe you fairness. It doesn't bend for your expectations. And the Stoics knew this pain too well. Marcus Aurelius bled it out in a sentence. Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whichever way they happen. That's not giving up. That's not being numb. That's the sound of chains snapping off your soul. You're not here to control the world. You're here to master your response. And yet, you've been fighting shadows, arguing with ghosts, pleading with outcomes that were never in your control to begin with. You were so busy trying to fix the outside, you never noticed the war exploding inside. You kept showing up for people who never even knocked. You tried to silence their judgments, prove your worth, stitch the unrepairable. But every time you did, you leaked more of yourself. More time, more peace, more strength. Until there was nothing left but resentment and exhaustion. It's like trying to hold back the tide with your bare hands. You drown slower, but you still drown. Let go, not because you're weak, but because clinging to what you can't command is the most brutal way to die inside. Imagine holding sand. Squeeze it, and it escapes. Loosen your grip, and it rests gently. That's not surrender. That's control over the right thing, yourself. That's real Stoic power. When you stop obsessing over the uncontrollable, life stops using it as a weapon against you. You can't force someone to understand you. You can't stop time from ruining plans. You can't rewrite what's been written, but you can rise anyway. You can learn to walk through fire without begging the flames to be kinder. You can stop measuring your peace by things that don't care about you. And once you do, that's the moment you get your soul back. That's when you stop being the puppet. That's when you stop being bent by every wave and instead become the damn ocean. You were never meant to control it all. You were meant to carry yourself through the chaos, unshaken. So stop bleeding for things that aren't yours. Stop waiting for the world to heal you. Stand up, let go, and watch the power return to your hands like lightning finding its source. Number 3. Pain is a message, not a life sentence. You've cried behind closed doors, haven't you? Not just tears, silent breakdowns. The kind where your body doesn't move, but your soul screams so loud you can't breathe. Where every heartbeat feels like it's cracking through your chest. You stared at ceilings like they held the answers. You clutched your pillow like it could hold you back together. And in those dark hours, it felt like the pain tattooed itself into your identity. Not a moment, not a phase, a curse. Like this was who you are now. A person marked by suffering, a ghost wearing a smile. But you weren't broken by the pain. You were broken by the meaning you attached to it. You gave the wound a voice, and it spoke Lee's. That heartbreak wasn't just about them leaving. It became your inner sentence, "You're not enough." That failure wasn't just a stumble. It turned into a mirror that screamed, "You'll never win." But Marcus Aurelius threw a torch into that darkness. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. That's not philosophy. That's a sword. That means the pain never held the power. You did. Pain was never designed to be your jail. It was built to be your teacher. It's the siren in the night, dragging you back to your truth. It exposes the lies you believed about yourself. It strips away illusions you were too afraid to face. It digs into your ribs and says, "Look at the real you." Not the performer, not the survivor, not the version of you they needed, but the wounded one who still gets up, the broken one who still chooses to love, the crushed soul that still gives when it has nothing left. Visualize it. Your pain is a brutal storm. Lightning, thunder, chaos. But once it passes, it doesn't leave you weaker. It leaves you raw, alive, reborn. That storm rips off your mask. It ruins your comfort, but it gives you yourself. the self that isn't afraid of rejection, because you've already survived abandonment, the self that doesn't fear failure, because you've already risen from ruin, the self that walks in fire, because you've learned that burning doesn't mean ending, it means forging. Don't build a shrine to your suffering. Don't treat pain like a prison guard. It is a ruthless instructor, but if you listen, it's the one voice that won't lie to you. Learn the lesson. Burn the old self. Rise through the ashes. Wear your scars like gold armor, not wounds, but reminders. You were dragged through hell and you walked out. Don't let the past chain you to a false identity. You weren't meant to stay in pain. You were meant to pass through it, like a battlefield, like a warrior. So take the fire that tried to destroy you and light your way with it, because pain was never a life sentence. It was the beginning of your resurrection. Number 4. You become what you tolerate. Look around, right now. Take a moment and really see your life. Not the filtered highlight reel, but the real, raw mess you've been quietly accepting. The people who drain your energy like vampires, hiding behind fake smiles. The routines that chain you to the same worn-out misery, day after day. The distractions that swallow your focus and spit it out, wasted. That relationship that sucks the life from your bones while you pretend it's love. That habit, ugly and persistent, stealing your mornings, your drive, your soul's fire. And the worst offender, that voice in your head you stopped fighting, the one that whispers lies, doubts, and it's fine. But it's not fine. It never was. You just said, it's fine, one too many times, and now the chaos owns a room in your mind. This didn't happen overnight. It was a slow poison, drop by drop. Every time you swallowed your pride and stayed silent, every moment you bent your spine to squeeze into someone else's idea of comfort, because loneliness scares you more than dying a little inside. Every inch you lowered your standards just to avoid rocking the boat, to keep the peace, to keep pretending you're okay when you're not. But Marcus Aurelius, he saw through all that smoke and mirrors. He said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And here's the brutal truth. Your thoughts don't exist in a vacuum. They are shaped, twisted, and broken by the world you let inside. If you let chaos linger, your mind becomes chaos incarnate. If you tolerate disrespect, you anesthetize your soul's alarm bells. If you allow lies to slip in, soon enough your entire life becomes a lie. You were not born to shrink, not to fade, not to suffocate your own light, to make others comfortable. You weren't meant to settle for crumbs of love, half-hearted effort, or diluted truth. Somewhere along this brutal journey you forgot the mountain of power you carry within. And the moment people sense you'll swallow anything, your silence becomes the loudest invitation they'll ever get to treat you like less than you are. They stop giving more because you stopped demanding it. Visualize your life as a garden, a wild, sacred place. Whatever you allow takes root. If you leave the gate open for weeds, negativity, gossip, toxicity, they'll grow fast, choke the life out of your dreams and poison your peace. But if you guard that garden like the holy ground it is, you'll only plant what fuels your growth: clarity, peace, fierce resilience. And that requires armor, boundaries carved out of discipline, courage sharp enough to say, "This no longer serves me. This is not easy." The world will call you selfish, cold, weak. But protecting your peace is not selfish, it's survival. You cannot light up the darkness around you if your own soul is smothered by what you've been silently enduring. Your standards are not chains, they are your shield. Your boundaries are the gatekeepers of your liberation. So now, look in the mirror and ask yourself, What poison am I letting drip into my veins? Which toxic presence am I feeding while pretending it's love? What lies have I swallowed so long they've turned into the bitter truth of who I am? And here's where the fire starts. Cut it all loose. Every person, every habit, every thought, every toxic whisper that steals your power. If it costs your peace, then it was never worth the price. This is your life, your war, your freedom to claim. Number 5. The energy you feed feeds you. Ever notice how one single toxic thought sneaks in, and suddenly it's like a virus infecting your entire day? You wake up already drained, the weight of exhaustion crushing your chest before you even open your eyes. One careless insult ricochets inside your head like a bullet, and suddenly your entire identity feels shattered, weak, fractured. This isn't life playing some cruel joke on you. No, this is energy, the silent predator, being recycled over and over again. And you are the unwitting farmer watering this poison garden inside your mind. Marcus Aurelius slammed this truth down centuries ago, but it hits even harder in this modern chaos. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Your mind is a canvas, and whatever you pour energy into, that color stains you deep. Every complaint you nurture, every fear you obsess over, every what-if scenario you run like a broken record, those are not harmless whispers. They are seeds of decay. And your mind? It doesn't hesitate. It drenches them in relentless water, making them grow wild and twisted. But what if you turned the tide? What if you woke up one morning and refused to let the scrolling news, feed, or toxic voices inside your head drown you in darkness? What if, instead of feeding that relentless inner critic, you sat in the stillness, raw, unfiltered silence, and breathed life into your soul? What if you spoke words of defiance, of hope, even when yesterday almost shattered your bones? What if you reminded yourself, I'm still here, I'm still breathing, I'm still fighting, I'm still growing? Suddenly the energy flips. The poison becomes fuel. The fire inside builds you up instead of tearing you down. Picture this. Your mind is a mirror, not just reflecting what's out there, but what you project inside. If you spit anger, bitterness, and chaos at it, that's exactly what it throws back at you, tenfold. But if you breathe discipline, self-respect, relentless forward motion into that mirror, it reflects something else entirely: clarity, strength, unshakable peace. The world outside won't always bend to your will. It might rage, crumble, and betray. But the lens you choose to see it through, that is your kingdom. That is your power. This isn't naive optimism. This is ruthless selection, a savage war against the invasive weeds that poison your mind. If your life feels like a spiraling chaos, a downward plunge into madness, trace it. Follow the trail back to the first seed you fed, the thought you obsessively replayed, the emotional reaction you allowed to run wild, unchecked. You are not a victim to the storm. You are the sky the storm moves through, vast, unbreakable. Choose your color, choose your calm. Feed only what carves strength into your bones. And for everything else, the rage, the doubt, the noise, kill it with silence so deep, it echoes like a battle cry in the void. Number 6. You owe the world your stillness. In a world addicted to noise, where everyone screams to be seen, heard, and validated, stillness isn't just quiet. It's an act of rebellion. The world moves like a violent storm, desperate, restless, frantic for attention. Social feeds flood your senses with endless chaos. People chase likes like lifelines. But here's the brutal truth. None of that noise will save you. It never has. The only sanctuary that offers true peace, the only place untouched by the madness, is the fortress of your own soul. Marcus Aurelius, centuries before our screens ruled us, carved this wisdom into time. Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. If you strip away the digital fog, the endless scrolling, the constant performing, you know it's true. That crushing exhaustion you feel, it's not just physical, it's the spirit dying in the flood of noise, trying to be everywhere, for everyone, all the time. You post, you reply, you compare, you burn, and slowly the fire consumes you from the inside. Stillness isn't laziness. Far from it. Stillness is brutal clarity, raw and unfiltered. It's the moment when the masks drop, when fake friends vanish like shadows at noon, and the true weight of your values crash back into view. It's where you finally confront the ugly truths you've buried deep, the decisions you dodge, the habits you desperately need to sever, the toxic love you keep begging for from the wrong souls. Stillness is the battlefield where your real self wages war, and it always wins. Picture your soul as a storm-tossed lake. When the surface rages, everything beneath is obscured, muddy, violent, chaotic. You stumble blindly through life, unable to see what's coming. But when the lake calms, smooth as glass, everything is revealed. Your next move comes into sharp focus. Your hidden strength rises like a mountain. Your wounds begin to heal with a fierce and sacred power. But you'll never reach this calm if you stay trapped in the noise, chained to the chaos, shackled to the endless need to react. You owe the world your highest self, your sharpest mind, your clearest heart, your fiercest peace. But you can't give that if you're running on empty, drowned in distractions. Let others chase validation like junkies hunting a fix. Let them drown in noise and meaningless echoes. You build in silence. You think before you speak. You guard your peace like a king guards his throne. Because empires, real empires, aren't built from loud declarations. They rise quietly from the stillness within. Stillness sharpens your intuition until it's razor sharp. It wraps around you like armor against manipulation and deceit. It whispers the brutal truths you need to hear. Most battles aren't worth your blood. Most approval isn't worth your soul. When you own your stillness, you become untouchable, an immovable force in a world that's constantly trying to drag you into the chaos. Your silence becomes your roar. Number 7. The sun rises for you too. There's a brutal kind of loneliness in watching everyone else soar while you feel trapped beneath a thick, invisible weight. Life plays like a dazzling parade, a spectacle of victory and joy, and you're stuck on the sidelines, clapping, cheering, swallowing the bitter taste of silence that screams, "Why not me?" That searing ache burrows deep into your self-worth, whispering lies that you're too late, too broken, too forgotten. You feel invisible, like the universe skipped over your name on the roster of the chosen. But Marcus Aurelius throws a grenade into that dark thinking. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. That obstacle throttling your progress? It's not a stop sign, it's a damn gateway. The delay, the struggle, the pain, they aren't curses. They're your crucible, forging a fiercer version of you. You're not falling behind. You're being forged in fire, tempered by trials no one else can see. And make no mistake, you haven't been abandoned. The sun didn't rise today for everyone except you. It rose for you, too, for your second chance, for the silent battles you fought alone and won, for the invisible scars you wear like armor, that suffocating silence you drown in, the loneliness you mask with fake smiles. None of it is your punishment. It's your proving ground. A raw arena where the weak fall away and the warriors are born. Everyone's journey is a different storm. Your timeline is your own brutal march. When your hourglass empties, it won't be luck or coincidence. It'll be victory earned with blood, sweat, and soul. Because you didn't break. You didn't lie to yourself. You stood your ground. You endured. Imagine yourself as a seed buried in the darkest earth, cold, cramped, gasping for light. You don't see it yet, but under that heavy soil, something monstrous is growing. Something relentless. Then, one day, that brutal light breaks through. It rips the darkness apart, and everything inside you explodes outward in unstoppable force. Just because no one's cheered your name yet, doesn't mean you're not worth celebrating. Just because your moment hasn't blasted through the noise, doesn't mean it's any less real, any less powerful. Keep moving, keep grinding, keep guarding your fire. The sun rises for you too, always has. And when it does, it won't just illuminate your path. It will blind the world with your brilliance. Positivity isn't some sugar-coated lie. It's not about plastering on fake smiles or parroting empty cliches that crumble the moment life punches back. Real power is forged in brutal self-awareness, the kind that stares your darkest demons dead in the eye and refuses to blink. It's radical responsibility, owning every damn thought, every feeling, every reaction, no matter how ugly or raw. It's quiet, relentless resilience, the unbreakable backbone of a soul that won't surrender. Marcus Aurelius didn't just hand down advice, he handed down a crown. Your mind is the last fortress, the final kingdom standing between chaos and control. Either you seize that throne with iron will, or you become a prisoner to every fear, doubt, and outside noise screaming for attention. This is war. Choose your thoughts like a warrior loads a weapon. Carefully, with precision, with deadly intent. Guard your peace like a monarch guards their crown. Unapologetically, mercilessly. You don't need the world to shift. The storms outside won't bow for you. So become the storm inside. Unstoppable, untouchable, undefeated. Bend the world to your will by becoming the one who refuses to bend. This is your reckoning, your revolution. If this video sparked a fire inside you, don't just watch and forget. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Make this moment your battlefield, your armor, your weapon, the power you seek. It was never out there in the chaos or in the approval of others. It has always been burning deep inside you, waiting, hungry, ready to explode.